So, what's the most popular item in kids' lunchboxes? It's actually a white bread sandwich.
You're watching the TWStuff live on 5 with our special guests, Scott Capurro, Larry Turner and Kay Adams. Still to come this morning. First, though, are teachers right to look into pupils' lunchboxes? Because the Daily Mail today accuses one London primary school of running a mealtime Gestapo. Teachers go through lunchboxes, confiscating anything they deem to be junk food, sweets, chocolates, fizzy drinks, full-fat crisps, until the end of the day when their parents can come and collect them. One mother, whose 9-year-old daughter is a pupil at Danegrove Primary in Barnet, has likened the school to Guantanamo Bay. Her daughter now has to hide her Smarties from teachers to avoid having them taken away, which is hardly waterboarding. Anyway, the school insists this policy is in place to ensure all pupils eat a well-balanced meal at lunchtime, to promote healthy eating and to maximise pupils' potential learning during afternoon classes. 9 out of 10 lunchboxes apparently contain foods high in fat, salt and sugar these days. Fewer than half contain a single piece of fruit, though, of course, packing healthy food into a lunchbox is no guarantee your spogs are actually going to eat it. In fact, researchers have found 2/3 of children regularly throw out the healthy items in their lunchboxes. So, that doesn't mean there's any reason, though, to pack them with junk food instead. So, is the school doing the right thing, ensuring their charges eat healthy stuff while under their care? Or is it behaving like some fascist police force, dictating what comprises an acceptable diet, even if that goes against parents' wishes, Larry? And I believe there's not just one school doing this, you know of others.
There's a healthy foods policy in many schools now, and I mean, kind of post Jamie Oliver and stuff. And certainly my kids, not this year, last year, actually came home with a letter, first day of school, saying this is what is acceptable in a lunchbox. And there were no sweets and there were no... I don't think crisps were kind of OK, but there were no chocolate. And, of course, I was...
Hardcore porn?
Funny enough, that wasn't on the list. And I was outraged, because I get a bit tired of being bossed about by my children's school. I'm bossed about all the time by headmistresses and teachers.
Imagine what it feels like to be me, Larry.
But I have to think the bottom line is, of course, the teachers have to teach these kids after lunch. And if you've had a kid who sat there and drunk a can of Coke and eaten a Mars bar, they will be a nightmare to teach.
And therefore,
no, but it isn't, because I know that, you know, kids are going in. I've seen kids drinking a can of Red Bull on their way into school. There are some parents who are letting that happen.
Well,
and it is the
teachers.
The teachers, no, so they can't control it, but they can control what's happening at lunchtime. I mean, the question is, should you force all kids to have school dinners? Because when I was a kid, there were no packed lunches, you had to have school dinners, and that was a way to make sure that the children had a healthy meal at lunchtime, despite what parents are doing.
I think this actually can potentially do harm. I don't think we should absolutely accept that this is the right way to be, to control people to such an extent. I think if teachers have got a problem with certain children that they feel that their diet is so poor, it's affecting their performance at school, quiet word with the parent and try and sort that out. But I do not want my child growing up to believe that chocolate is evil, because I don't think chocolate is evil. I think too much chocolate is evil, and I would much rather she had a balanced, relaxed attitude to food than growing up, you know, at the age of 6, thinking, oh my God, I can't eat this, I can't eat this, and I can't eat that.
Realistically, in this day and age, that any child is going to grow up without having food neuroses, because every day the papers carry more food neuroses.
I mean, I was brought up in the traditional way. I ate rubbish for 16 years, absolute rubbish, Scottish diet, dreadful. And if I see chocolate now, I can't resist it. That old thing is in my head. My daughter is 6. She's had this chocolate lolly sitting in her bedroom for months. I go into her bedroom and I start to get palpitations. And I can't believe
it's there.
I've actually taken a bite out of it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to one day. I was desperate. She looked at it. She went, oh, I don't fancy it. She's so relaxed about food.
She's relaxed, but we have a growing number of children who are coming up to... They're obese.
But what I'm saying is I don't think the way of getting people to have a normal, healthy, relaxed attitude towards food is by policing
let's say at the point when 2/3 of children are obese, so you're looking at what, 15 years time, maybe less than that. Would you agree then that something needs to be done?
Yes, but not
this.
Why
don't we do it now?
But not this. I don't agree in this kind of Stasi tactic or whatever they're calling it. I think yes, we do have. So
you have a great fat lump of a child turn up to your school whose lunchbox is overflowing with fizzy pop, crisps, and chocolate.
You speak to that individual parent and you talk to them and you speak to that child and you deal with them as an individual.
There weren't a lot of fat Nazis. I mean, they knew...
Which is an alternative take on that story.
They knew how to control people, so maybe just a little fascism is good. A little bit. Just a teeny bit.
fascism light.
Yeah, fascism
Yes.
light. Like
Yeah.
knee-high boots and no crisps.
There is a bottom line.
What do you say?
In this country, teachers act in loco parentis. They act in the place of parents. So therefore, if a parent could and should be doing something to look after a child's health in terms of what they eat, then surely a teacher should as well.
Well, teachers are awfully busy, though, aren't they? They've got a
Yeah.
lot of other things to do. I just think parents should be doing more of their job. You know, like, don't leave your kids alone in the yard, you know, just for hours if you don't want them kidnapped, for instance. I just think if you want your kids to grow up healthy food, then feed them well at home, right? That's
But if they're not being fed well at home, then surely someone has to step in and take the
Yeah,
initiative.
but that's another important side of it. We have to get back responsibility in everyone, adults and children. And by taking responsibility away from parents in the way that Scott says, I don't think you're helping the long-term problem.
OK, I hear you. It is interesting because Kay's view it seems to be very much the school needs to address each individual case, which I think is a fair point. I'm just worried that if we set it against the backdrop of mounting obesity in the country, perhaps, and bearing in mind that teachers are in loco parentis, teachers do need to step up. Maybe this is the right thing. Let's throw it open to you. Hear what you have to say. Pollyanna.
We've got Kelly, who's from the Isle of Wight. She's on line 1.
Morning, Kelly.
Hello.
Hi there. Do they do this at your school, by the way, your
Yeah,
kids'
they
school?
do. I've got a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old, and their packed lunch consists of fruit, yoghurt, healthy foods, and sometimes they get like a little chocolate bar, penguin bar or something like that, and they've come home from school many a times been told they're not allowed to eat it, and I absolutely disagree with this. I think it's wrong because I choose for them to have packed lunches so I know exactly what they're eating every day. They have a balanced meal at night with vegetables. They've got a really good, healthy diet.
But Kelly, can you? Right, your children are doing fine. Let's just say there are a lot of larger children at your children's school.
Yeah.
The teachers get involved there and they find it's just a box full of chocolate. Can you take the chocolate out of one kid's box and not take it out of the others? Or are you then not being prejudiced,
I think it is
sizist?
individual as well, but I mean, I'm actually a children's nurse as well, and a lot of children have problems with diet for many different reasons. So I think by doing that, you know, there's children that I've met children in my time that are very fussy eaters for whatever reason or another. And I don't think it's fair that they can do things like that. I think
yes, but I'll say again, Kelly, within the classroom environment, if you are trying to protect the obese children whose health is going to suffer, and you see that their boxes are filled with bad stuff, can you take all the bad stuff out of that child's box and leave the chocolate bars in the others?
Kelly is a responsible parent who's taking a responsible attitude, and she's being punished.
About the other children.
Well, it's not. I mean, what's that going to do? If that child has got a bad healthy diet, they're going to go home and continue having a bad healthy diet.
Yeah. So can't they have a break at school?
The issue with it is actually, I look at that as if somebody's, you know, that teacher's saying, your child can't eat that, they can't have this. I think it's wrong.
Kelly, as a mother, it is very annoying when other people decide to make decisions for you. But we are only talking one tiny chocolate bar. She could have it when she could have it when you pick her up from school. She could have it at supper. It's just one meal in the day.
But it's more than that. I think it's giving the wrong message. It's saying chocolate is bad in any sense. It's not.
But I'd say you've got to
moderation.
counter that against singling out the fat child and taking their stuff away from them for their own health, and how that's going to play out.
But what you should be doing is getting the child and the parent together. If they've got a real problem with obesity
remember the
in
ones
the
sticking
diet.
the burgers through the school gates? If they're not going to listen, how and who is anybody going to take
Well, let's just
care
get
of
the kids
big
fostered. Let's just take them away because the parents
That's
over the
a growing
complete
trend
waste
in
of
this
time.
country. You
Just
should be
take them
careful what
away.
you wish for.
Well, I mean, we're starting to go along that line. We've got to talk to people.
OK. Thank you for that one, Kelly. Let's have another.
Got David from Wales.
David, good morning.
Good. Hi, Matthew. Very good programme.
Thank you very much.
I have very, very strong views on this. The Southampton report by Professor Stevenson in 2007 proved that just a few of the additives cause that's a 6-point reduction in IQ. So that should be reason enough for cleaning up the diet of children. As I reported before a few months ago, I cured my son of a misdiagnosis of ADHD and Asperger's by cleaning up his diet completely. That's no additives at all. In fact, no factory-made food whatsoever.
David, you've got an individual case there, David, and with your son, and clearly that had to be addressed. You know, I grew up on mountains of chocolate every single day.
I'm not talking
it's
about
not
chocolate.
a good thing.
I'm talking about the chemical additives.
Rubbish. I ate rubbish.
I'm talking about the petroleum dyes, the azo dyes in children's food.
I mean, to be fair, we have had lots of people on before who've said that they can correct ADHD through diet.
I think it's erroneous to compare today's diet with kids, with the diet that we had, because the diet is. I grew up eating fish fingers and whatever, but the amount of packaged and convenience, the whatchamacallit Dunkables, and that kind of weird manufactured food is very different from what we had as children.
Well, but I mean, the sweeties and the rubbish. I mean, I don't advocate
But did you
that.
eat
I mean,
them at lunchtime in school?
All the time. I barely get any teeth in my head that are my own, and I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm
Can I
really
make a
glad we've
suggestion?
moved on.
Can I make a
but
suggestion?
let's
This is
not
what my mum
panic.
did for me, and it did me no harm. Put the chocolate in the sandwiches. Chocolate spread sandwiches.
I do that.
Problem solved. David, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. That's what I had. I got chocolate spread sandwiches, banana and yogurt, sell the banana and yogurt, get money, spend it on cigarettes. It's absolutely perfect.
Look how good you turned out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you.
Actually, I now agree with David.
It is an interesting debate, and one I'm sure we'll come back to again.